Hello, beautiful souls. This is Elena Fouché. I want to share something with you that I was thinking about yesterday, and that is that this whole process of when we're in a certain state, that we can be so used to being there that it's really hard to remember what not being in that state is like. Why am I talking about this? Well, when I was really lost in my thoughts and I was believing that I was my thoughts and I was my emotions and that was my whole life, I was totally paying attention and kind of locked down into this sort of trap, maybe, of just being in my thoughts and emotions. It was crazy making. I was really miserable. I was believing all this junk in my head and all this stuff I was feeling, and it was like being a rat on a treadmill. It was awful. And I wanted out. And what was interesting is that when people who weren't here, when people who were in a different place and were off that treadmill and they had access to more of themselves, when they would tell me that it was even possible to get out and they would tell me how to get out, it seemed crazy to me. It was really not my experience. I was so in here that I couldn't see out. I couldn't see anything else. And I think that's partly why it seems like mysterious or magical, or we have all this stuff around being enlightened or a guru or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Guys, from over here, it's just you. It's not any big, crazy, magical, religious, mysterious, spiritual thing, really. It's just, well, let me give you an example. All right. What if I have two perfectly good arms, and yet, for whatever reason, who knows how these things start, I start using only one arm exclusively, and I use it so much, and I use it for everything, and I've done it for so long that I even look this direction. I don't even look the other direction, and I've even forgotten that I have another arm. And I use it to tie my shoes, brush my teeth, write, make music, dance, everything. And of course my arm is getting tired and I'm a little bit lopsided. And you come up and you're like, hey Elena, how you doing? I'm like, I'm great. I'm really tired though. I eat all this good food and I exercise and my arm's still just like, oh my gosh. And you're like, oh, hey, why don't you use your other arm? And I'm like, other arm? What are you talking about, dude? Are you crazy? I am using my arm. What? And you're like, right there. It's right there. Just, you can choose to look that way and you can choose to lift it up and use it. And of course, I'm like, yeah, you're crazy. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I am choosing to use my arm. Right? I mean, this is crazy from the outside perspective. But of course, for me, it's a habit. I am used to using one part of myself. And I'm so used to using this one part of myself exclusively that I've forgotten there's even another part. This part maybe is even atrophied. It might even be hard to use. Okay? So, remembering to use all of you, though, is not some mysterious, magical rocket science thing. It's just remembering to use all of you. And of course, it's a process because you have gotten so used to just using your thoughts and your emotions and maybe your body that you've forgotten that you are a bigger consciousness. And that sounds esoteric, and that sounds, I don't know, woo-woo or spiritual or crazy or like I'm making something up, except that it's actually just your other arm, guys. Like, you're already using one, you just use the other. Like, it's not... From over here, from using both arms, it's pretty normal. It's how you're designed. Yeah. So, I don't know. That helps me. Maybe it'll help you. And the other thing is, realize that because, or at least for me, because I had spent so much time using this one part of myself, that it really was hard to see outside of that. It really was hard to even imagine that there was more of me to use. And so be gentle on yourself. Be gentle, because it's not your experience right now, if it's not your experience. And, as you're moving over into becoming more, or, utilizing more of your wholeness, it takes time. This is a big habit. This is not yet. Okay. Take care. Hope that helps. And I'll see you next time.